Well, as the Trump administration continues to ramp up on immigration raids across the country, the ICE detention facility in Batavia is facing new accusations of abuse against detainees. In an article published today by Investigative Post, federal audits that were conducted last year and in 2023 found instances of excessive use of force, shackling of detainees held in solitary confinement, and physician assistants performing their dental work. On top of that, former detainees tell Investigative Post that guards would beat them up and that solitary confinement will be used as punishment. They also say many detainees would be locked in their cells for at least 18 hours a day, getting paid $1 a day to do maintenance work. 40 people now taking legal action, filing a civil rights complaint with the Department of Homeland Security. Joining us live here tonight is J. Shoemaker, reporter with Investigative Post. And right off the top, I think it's important for people to understand, in the context of these immigration raids that are happening around the country, when someone is taken into custody, they often will end up at this facility in Batavia. The allegations that you are reporting on happened in the prior administration.
Yeah, this is, as one of the advocates I spoke to for this story made very clear, this is, despite immigration being highly politicized in this country, this is not a partisan issue. We saw the confinements at this facility spike under President Trump's first term. They spiked again in Joe Biden's last year in office, and they are now again climbing with Trump back in office. And so, as you kind of mentioned, with Trump threatening to do much more, many more deportations, we wanted to know what the conditions are like at this facility. And the conditions, by all accounts, are very inhumane. Many detainees are held in a cell, as you said, for 18 hours a day, only allowed out if they volunteer, quote unquote, to work for $1 a day. Others are held in solitary confinement as punishment for any number of minor offenses. They do have access to tablets to do video calls. They have to pay for those video calls with their $1 a day wages. Video calls can run $5 or $6, meaning that you have to work a week or more in order to afford such a video call. There are recreation and other things that happen there, but the detainees I spoke to and the federal audits I read really pointed to some pretty harsh conditions.
And whether you are in this country legally or illegally, you are afforded certain rights, and that's why we're now talking about legal action being taken on behalf of some of these detainees. I know you talked to some of them as well as their attorneys. How is that process going to play out? So the key point here is that if you're in the Batavia facility, you are most likely being processed for deportation. Some of the people being processed are former criminals. They have spent either federal or they've spent prison sentences in state or federal prison. The key point there is that they have served their sentences. They have presumably paid their debt to society, and they are just waiting to basically get put on a bus or put on a plane and leave. Other people are the subject of raids. However, despite how they end up there, they are describing conditions that are similar to the maximum security prisons in this country. Restrictions on freedom, the use of solitary, the frequent beatings by guards is what some detainees told me, and they can languish there. We're not talking about short stays of days or weeks. Some people are there for years at a time, and I've even seen some data showing that some people are in solitary confinement for a year or more. Finally, you talk about getting some of this information from audits that were conducted. What happens with that information? Is there any reason to believe that the folks who are running this facility and others look at that information, those allegations, and make changes, or not?
So yeah, so I'm glad you brought that up. The federal government itself recognizes some of the abuses that happen here, specifically with the use of restraints and the use of force against some of the detainees. With the use of restraints in solitary confinement, they do report that they have made some policy changes to that, but we don't know the extent to those changes, and we don't know, how well they are adhering. We won't really know until the next audit. The other key detail here is that while ICE oversees this facility, they contract out all of the day-to-day labor to a company called Akima Global Services. So a private contractor is the one who is running this facility day-to-day, and they are the ones doing all of this.
A lot of reporting went into this. I encourage you to read the article at investigativepost.org. J. Shoemaker, thanks for coming in.
Thanks so much.
Thanks.